Hey everyone, today I'm here to do a review of The Edible Woman by Margaret Atwood. Now before I get started, I want to say that my intention on this channel is to do at least one individual book review per month. I kind of started to shy away from it at first. It's not a very popular part of booktube, which is kind of ironic that book reviews are actually the least watched part of booktube, but I do feel it's important to be giving reviews of books and kind of bring that into the community. As well, sometimes there's books where you want to say a lot more about it and you really don't have time in a wrap-up video, so I'm going to try to pick out a book per month that I want to talk a little bit more about and start trying to do a little bit more reviews. Now, of course, Margaret Atwood is one of the most famous literary authors from Canada, which is where I'm from. All of her books get a big old maple leaf on the side of them at the libraries in my city. And The Edible Woman is one of her more famous books. I'd say her most famous book is The Handmaid's Tale, which is the only other book by her I've read, and I really enjoy that one too, so I definitely recommend checking it out. I do feel that Margaret Atwood has a really distinct style of writing. It's been years since I've read The Handmaid's Tale, but reading this one just this month, I was surprised how much I was going, oh yeah, this is Atwood's writing, I recognize her writing, so I find it's very distinctive. Now, the actual synopsis of this book is about a woman named Marion who becomes engaged, and during her engagement she slowly starts to lose her appetite for different foods. So it starts, I believe, with things like meat and eggs, and it just becomes harder and harder for her to find things to eat. And basically, while she's being able to consume less and less food, she feels as if she's being consumed in her engagement. So that's the very brief synopsis of the book, and really gives you a good idea of what the content is about. This book was written in the early 1960s, which of course was the early start of the feminist revolution, and you can really tell that feminist ideas were prevalent in the days that Margaret Atwood was writing, because this is very much a feminist novel. Generally, I would recommend this to a female audience, or at least to an audience who is open to reading about feminist ideas. You don't necessarily need to share the ideology of the feminist movement brought up in this book to still appreciate it as a great piece of writing. Now, I absolutely love the use of food as symbolism in this book. The idea that the character feels that she is being consumed herself, and in that way turns and is disgusted by the idea of consuming anything else. Interesting enough, you'll learn right off the bat that she also works for a survey company where they deal with basically how to sell consumer products. So this book, the entire book, she's dealing with the idea of consuming and buying into ideas and practices. Now, even though this book was written in the 1960s, I still found it incredibly relevant to today, and I think that a lot of women will find meaning and find in some way relating to the messages being portrayed in the book. This book really discusses that topic of identity in marriage and kind of who you are when you're part of a couple, and it deals with femininity and sexuality and just a lot of really powerful topics, which honestly really just felt very contemporary. I know in my own group of, friends in the 20s, a lot of the discussions that were happening in this book were also happening with my friends. And I think this book really challenges those ideas, and it just was so smart. I just loved it. And on top of that, I should say, it's funny. Anytime a book tends to, have titles like literary and a modern classic, I tend to think of them as very dry books, but this was super funny. I highly enjoyed reading it. Some of the parts were hilarious. I should warn, just in case anyone's a bit younger or sensitive to it, there is some swearing in the book, as well as adult content in terms of sex scenes, although of course they're very mild. That is mostly my thoughts on this book. Definitely recommend it. I gave it, I can't remember, either 4 stars or 5 stars on Goodreads. I will definitely be rereading it in the future. It's very well written. It's very smart. I love Margaret Atwood, and I can't wait to read more of her books. Let me know if you've read this one, or if you've read anything else by Margaret Atwood and what you thought about it. That's about it for me. Everyone have a good day, and I'll see you in my next video. Okay, thanks. Okay, bye.